Welcome to This Day and Everything Cool for January 14th. On this day in 1987, Nintendo showed that even the best game makers working with the best franchises can screw up. The second Legend of Zelda game, The Adventure of Link, was released on the Famicom in Japan, continuing the story of the Hyrulean adventurer Link in a new battle against the villainous Ganon. The original game had become a huge hit when it was released 2 years earlier, so Nintendo naturally greenlit a sequel, but this time around they wanted to change things up a bit. Rather than just copy the same top-down formula, the developers decided to instead go with a completely new side-scrolling perspective. Although there was still a top-down perspective in the overworld, whenever players explored dungeons and towns, the game switches to a 2D side-scrolling perspective, similar to the original Mario or Metroid games, which fundamentally changes the combat and exploration. When Zelda 2 was first released, it was actually a big hit, both critically and commercially, although in recent years it hasn't held up as well. Many players just don't like the side-scrolling perspective, arguing that it deviates too far from the Zelda formula, and Nintendo apparently agrees, because they never used it again. Zelda 2 wouldn't get a Western release on the NES for a year and a half after it was released in Japan, and by that time, Nintendo had already begun work on the next game, A Link to the Past, for the more powerful Super Nintendo. Thankfully, they brought back the top-down perspective, and the game was received much more favorably, going on to become one of the best in the series.